Hello, fans. This is Hall of Famer Ron Simmons, and you are listening to WNS Podcast. And if you're not listening, that's just one word for you. Damn!
You're listening to the official Wrestling News Source podcast. For all of your information, go to WrestlingNewsSource.com or check us out on Facebook by searching WrestlingNewsSource.com or WNS Podcast. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Stitcher, and iTunes by searching Wrestling News Source Podcast or WNS Podcast. Now being broadcast in over 45 different countries, here are your hosts, Daniel Herron, Tyler Abear, and Doug.
That's right. What's up, everyone? I am Daniel Herron.
I'm Tyler Abear.
I'm Doug.
And welcome you to episode 286 of the official podcast for WrestlingNewsSource.com. For all of your information, go to WrestlingNewsSource.com. Check us out on Facebook, WrestlingNewsSource.com. You can find us on Facebook, WNS Podcast, on YouTube, WNS Video, and on iTunes, Wrestling News Source Podcast.
Hey, we're on Dat Stitcher. Dat Beyond Pod.
Beyond Pod.
Datplayer.fm.
Datplayer.fm.
You can follow the podcast on Twitter at WNS Podcast. Daniel's at WNS_Daniel. And Tyler's at Tyler_Abear.
There you go. So welcome to the show. Got lots to talk about this week.
I'm way up on the mic.
That's okay.
I'm going to try because I always sound like whenever Tyler's off and I use that mic, there's always a difference. So
Well, I'm
like,
telling you, there's something with the levels on that microphone there that's different from the microphone that you're
I thought you were going to say there's something wrong with him.
I sound better. I'm
You
just
sound
going to say.
crisp.
I do. I know I have like a weird voice, so it doesn't.
It's
don't
something
have
to
a weird
do
voice.
with these levels. I don't know what it is or how I can adjust it.
I'm trying to be way up on the mic this week. I guess we'll find out once
You're up on
we
that
hear
shit.
it. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
I know yours is this one, which is different from the other two.
I don't know. But I'm
So-
all up on this.
All about that bass.
All up on that.
So, I got lots to talk about. Feedback, Raw, Smackdown, maybe some Cruiserweight Classic, Hot Topics, all that and more. So, how you guys doing?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah? Hanging in there? Welcome
I'm
back,
hanging in there.
Tyler.
Oh, thank you. I guess I could tell the audience this. So
Yeah, we didn't say anything. We just were like, he can say whatever he wants to say if he wants to say anything at all.
Yeah.
the last 2 years, my dad's been having cancer. Liver cancer. Well, last Tuesday, they got a call for a liver.
He had been on a list waiting
he'd been
for a
on a
liver
list,
for quite some time.
Yes. So I really thought it was going to be longer than this. But,
Yeah.
I mean, hey, man, it was a true miracle, man, because, okay, so we live an hour and a half, maybe hour, 45 minutes, to 2 hours to Houston.
Yeah, depending on traffic.
Yeah. So when they got the liver, they thought, if we were in Nederland, Beaumont area, they wouldn't have made it in time to get the liver. That day, my parents were at Houston Methodist Hospital for a PET scan. And then it just worked out that they were there. And then also that liver that he got wasn't supposed to be for him automatically. Right. It was for someone else, and they were too sick, and they turned it down. So my dad got that.
You were next in line.
Yes. So it was crazy how everything worked out.
And it just happened to be on a day where they were in Houston.
Oh, my gosh. Because, if they were in town, they would have made it in time. Because when they get the liver, I think the liver has like a 4-hour lifespan out of the body, but they have to get it, and they have to like do stuff to it.
Have it
and
ready
stuff
to
like
go.
That. Yeah,
you got to prep it.
Yeah.
Incredible timing.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. And
That's wild. So they're just like, hey, we're about to cut your ass open and put this in there.
yeah. My dad, we're all excited. My dad,
No, I mean, obviously it's a very positive thing, but like that's a mind trip to be like not being prepared for like.
Oh, my dad
I was
wasn't
just going to the doctor today, and next thing I know, they're calling me saying, "Hey, we got to cut you today."
Yeah, he wasn't mentally prepared,
Yeah.
And, like, we're on our way up, and he's like, well, y'all be safe up there. I was like, don't worry about us.
Yeah.
It's like, and I was glad we got up there right before he went in, so we got to see him. So, and also what was good, it was supposed to be a 6 to 7 hour surgery, and they did it in 3.5 hours.
Wow.
To put the liver in. But then the next day, they had to do a Whipple surgery, which is they had to redirect the bile duct. And they did that, and man, just everything just worked out perfectly, and just.
That's awesome.
So a successful
he
surgery.
is cancer-free. My dad is cancer-free, so.
That's awesome.
And much appreciate all the thoughts.
That
and
is
good vibes,
awesome.
So
Yeah. And so now the road to recovery begins after a
Yes.
successful surgery, cancer-free. That is completely awesome.
So
And,
that's where I was last week, and I'm going back and forth. They're gonna have to stay in Houston about 2 or 3 months. They got an apartment, so they have to be close to the hospital. You know,
just
they
in
have
case.
medicine he's always going to be on for the rest of his life. You know, they have to make sure that the body does not reject the liver.
Yeah.
So all that stuff. So that's where I'm going tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, excellent news. We're
Yes,
very
it is.
happy for you and happy for your dad.
Thank you,
and,
thank you.
And we hope that the recovery goes well. So yeah, so really good stuff. It's, you know, it's one of the things. The craziest timing.
Oh yeah, man. It's like
Hey, I know it's going to take you guys an hour and a half to get here, but if y'all can make it, we've got a liver for you. Oh, actually, we're in Houston right now. We're about
Yeah.
20 minutes away. We'll be there. Like, what are the odds of something like that?
they were in
happening?
the same building. They were in the same building.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were in the
Okay.
same building, just different floor.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we'll meet you at the elevator.
Yeah.
And we'll be good to go. Goodness. How crazy.
Oh, it's freaking nuts.
Yeah. And yeah, just absolutely crazy. So we'll talk about what happened over the weekend in just a little bit. We're going to get into the feedback because there's only one bit of feedback. It's from Ace McSpade saying, Eva Marie frustrates me. She has the look and the tools at her disposal to be the next Trish Stratus. Her level of talent, however, is noticeable. She can't seem to wrestle as well as most of the other girls on the roster, and her promo skills are even worse. The only thing that she can do with a microphone that would impress me is shove it up her ass. She's the main reason I don't watch Total Divas anymore. I can't stand her. Anyway, thanks for another great podcast, guys, and missed Tyler.
Oh, thank you so much.
So, yeah. I will say that Eva Marie has shown improvement in the past year or so. I think
With working with Kendrick.
working with Kendrick, yeah, doing what she's doing in NXT. She went in and at least was able to put a match together. And
You remember when she came back for that pay-per-view? It was like all the girls, one set of girls versus another set or whatever.
like
She was at
WrestleMania or
whatever. Then after that, she didn't really wrestle on the main roster for a while, right?
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing about Eva Marie. They seem to be fully aware of the crowd's perception of her
Very
and
meta.
fully aware of her talent level. Her whole angle right now on SmackDown is that they keep acting like she's going to wrestle, and then they keep coming up with reasons that she's not going to wrestle. So that if that doesn't tell you that they are fully aware of her perception and talent level, then I don't know what will.
And now it's working on a heel level, getting the crowd to react, negatively. Like,
Right.
oh, you're never going to wrestle.
And it's not just her ring work, her whole her intro. She doesn't.
Yeah.
She doesn't do the speaking for herself. She just has this intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, the beautiful
Hey.
Eva Marie.
Does that sound like they just put some effects on Morrow's voice and Morrow did it?
I've heard that voice before. I
Sounds
know he's
really familiar.
I know he's a voiceover guy.
Yeah,
I
but you don't think it's him?
No,
Okay.
no.
To me, it sounds like he recorded it like he's putting on a
He's-
voice and they put an effect on it.
If I'm correct, and I'm hoping my ear is right, that is the same voice that did the intro for Crime Time.
Okay.
Yo, 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 yo.
That
Pop
makes
a 40
sense.
and check your roll.
It's like the same-
Crime Time.
Cadence or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds very similar, so they probably have a guy that
Sure.
they can call for voice work.
Yeah, that makes sense. Good call on that. I didn't even put that together.
If I had to guess, that would be it.
Noise.
But yeah, give Eva Marie some time. She is at least showing some type of improvement,
Well, they're trying to promote her big time.
and
so.
she is working as a heel should. So, at least they have that going for her. But thanks for the feedback.
I think she might not even wrestle. I think that might be the whole
That'd
thing.
be the whole thing. Like it's like 2 months in. Don't worry. Next week I'm going to wrestle.
Yeah, next week I'm gonna come back. Oh, I got the flu. Dang it, darn, shucks. And then she'll actually be in a match, but someone's gonna interfere facing the other person. It'd be like Natalya coming out and attacking Becky Lynch or something like that.
Yeah.
Or however they want to do it, but they'll just draw it out for like 5 or 6 weeks.
They're clearly playing with that. I mean,
Yeah,
they
they're toying
know-
with all of you. They're wanting you to want to watch her wrestle. That's what they're doing.
Well, I mean, it's like a weird reverse psychology because the idea is that people think that she sucks, so theoretically you wouldn't actually want to watch her, but they're making you be mad that she's not competing anyway.
Exactly.
It's just like this weird like reverse psychology thing.
And it's gonna work too. So the match is finally gonna happen, and the crowd's gonna be like, "Finally!" And then
I could see it working. I mean, weirder things have happened.
absolutely. So yeah, but thank you so much for the feedback, Ace. We certainly appreciate it. But let's talk about what happened over the weekend. Icons of Wrestling, House of Hardcore. We got to have Tyler and I got to have a really good time out in Pasadena.
Dude, it was a blast. Like, no joke.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it had its boring times.
Well,
Like,
sure. That's with any convention.
It was like 5 or 6 hours, the convention. And,
Yeah, it was
I
from,
sold some stuff, and I
it
made a
was from
profit.
10 to 5.
10 to 5. But,
Oh, that's a 7-hour.
but
Oh, y'all go to that Tex-Mex spot
No.
the what?
where y'all were? Oh, that's right. You weren't in the city proper. Y'all were out in the burbs. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we got there, and we set stuff up.
Got there about 9:30-ish.
And off the bat, there's another vendor.
Or no, wait, we got there at like 10:30. I'm sorry. It started at 11.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was thinking it started at 10.
Off the bat, set stuff up, but there was a vendor guy who was going to the other vendor guys and buying stuff off of everyone. He bought stuff off me, but and we actually made not with that guy, but some other guys we kind of made little friends with and stuff. There's next to us, art by Jonathan. It's a guy who draws how you call it, pictures of you, characters and stuff like that. And he was really cool. And there's another guy selling some stuff. His name was John. But next to us,
we meet a lot of Johns and Jonathans. Have you noticed that?
Johns and Jonathan. That's funny. And then the guy that was next to us was buying stuff. He was with a group of guys, but Hernandez was with him. So Hernandez was there, and for I think One Man Gang was there the whole time, right? One Man Gang.
Yeah, for the majority of the time.
Bruce Pritchard.
Yeah. Vicky Guerrero showed up.
Vicky came a little later, and then.
Although out of all the other guests, she was one of the earlier ones.
Yeah. And then later on, they all start trickling because on the promotion itself, it didn't say when the wrestlers were going to be there, if they were going to be there the whole time. So there was people kind of bummed they got there like at the beginning, like where are the wrestlers? The other people. And
a lot of people waiting around.
Yeah, they waited around a long time. Then they all show up in a group. Billy Gunn, Lance Hoyt, Mickey James, Matt Stryker, who wasn't advertised.
Yeah. I think he might have been a replacement for Snitsky.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Because Snitsky was on the card, but Matt Stryker was not.
It was pretty cold in there for Mickey James.
Stay classy.
Yeah, stay classy.
Stay classy.
I did.
So we had a good time.
Have a good time.
Booker T showed up on his hoverboard.
Yeah, that was funny because I was like, oh man, hopefully he doesn't fall off because he just had elbow surgery.
Yeah.
So he was on his hoverboard. He got down, man. Tony Nese showed up.
Billy Gunn, Moose.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool. There were some other guys that showed up later, like in between the convention and the show itself. But it was just really cool. People,
Yeah, for those who have not seen it, we did a bunch of Facebook Live videos. They're on the podcast Facebook page, WNS Podcast, so make sure you go and check those out. We got to interview Vicky Guerrero, Mickey James, Moose, Matt Stryker, Lance Hoyt. So it was a really good time. We had a lot of fun doing that. Tyler got to make a little bit of cash.
Yeah.
And then we broke everything down, moved the tables.
We had to move, yeah. Like when everyone was showing up before a show, Tommy Dreamer came around and like shook everybody's hands, like the booths and stuff. That was really cool.
That's that old fashioned like once you walk in the building, you go and shake everyone's hand.
Yeah, I was like, we're just like
I shocked them.
Peons.
He didn't want heat with Book.
That's right. No heat. So
that was cool that he did that. I thought we're just random people that
Did you get to watch the video that we did with him? Oh my god,
he's pretty funny.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, make sure to check it out because it was hilarious.
But when we moved over there, during when they were setting up the ring, MVP came out.
Yeah,
and he was looking at all the booths and stuff, and he was looking at different stuff. He saw my CM Punk figure, and he talked about that guy. He goes, "He's a cool guy. He's what do you say?
He's very blunt.
He's very blunt.
He's like he's a no nonsense guy." So, because he walked up and he was like, "Hey, I know that guy," and I was like, I know that guy in a good way or I know that way in a bad way. And he was like, hey, I've never had any problems with the guy. I know a lot of people do, but that's because he's very upfront and he will tell you like it is. But I'm the same way. So I've never had any issues with him. And, it was a really cool story.
Yeah, it was really cool for him to come out. He was just looking at all the booths and stuff and seeing what everyone has.
Just getting ready for the show.
Nice, yeah.
Carlito was there. You got to take that awesome video of Sandman.
Yeah. If you don't know what we're talking about, go to our Facebook page and watch that. And also, one thing I did not get is right before that, he was on the hoverboard and he busted his butt. Mm-hmm. And
right after talking about how skilled he was at riding it.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
You wish you could ride this.
Yeah. So then the House of Hardcore show took place. Like I said, got to see Carlito.
Yeah, I think the card was really, like they said, it was subject to change because there was many matches that we knew that was going to be there and that they changed.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they changed a few things around, but that's okay. Moose had an open challenge. It was answered by MVP. I was kind of surprised that MVP got the win.
Yeah, it kind of felt awkward at the end a little bit. Like, I don't know.
My favorite match of it was the triple threat.
Rex Andrews versus Evan Snow versus Tony Nese.
Yeah. Those guys,
pretty good.
Those guys put on a good show.
Was Tony Nese on, was he just there hanging out for like pictures and autographs and stuff? Like,
he was there earlier doing that stuff and getting autographs.
I'm interested to, I mean, I would imagine most of the people would have known him like exclusively from the Cruiserweight Classic stuff.
He had the shirt on.
That's the shirt he had.
Shirt on.
Well, I mean, that's my question is how many people seem to be familiar with him like during the show and before the show?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm asking is, did
he get a reaction from the crowd?
I mean, I guess more I'm saying is how many people are watching the Cruiserweight Classic is what I'm getting at to have known him. I mean, obviously he's only been on in one show at this point, but still, like one episode. But.
Well, for the Icon show, the crowd was very light until all the main names started showing up. And then, your Booker T's, your Mickey James, those people had a lot of people wanting to meet them. Mm-hmm. Whereas some of the others, they had some light crowds. So it was kind of hard to tell. It was hard to get a gauge.
Right.
And they were on the opposite side of the building as we were. And then I'm trying to remember the crowd reaction for them.
I don't remember. I think everyone was pumped in general because it was a good match.
Yeah.
For that, but
I mean, you've been around independent wrestling long enough to know this crowd is hyped because the match is good versus this crowd is hyped because they know who this guy is.
I think of the three competitors when they made their entrance, he got like the largest pop, but it wasn't anything like Tommy Dreamer or Mickey James got.
Sure. I mean,
I felt like they were pop because of action.
Yeah.
That's how
but I don't. It's hard to get. It was hard to gauge.
I'm just curious.
I'm not too sure.
Okay, so this show was actually, ROW and House of Hardcore, but there was actually another organization there. Mm-hmm. Wildcat was there, and Luke Hawx, he wrestled. So
yeah,
because that's why I think that's his school. Wildcat, I believe they're in Louisiana.
Yes.
So they were there. They had a match. Luke Hawx, I forgot the other guy's name.
Yeah,
but it was cool when Carlito came out and all that stuff. He looked ripped, man.
He did.
He looked
Carlito
ripped.
is
bigger,
jacked,
bigger and stuff. So
he's working the 6-pack and everything.
Yeah,
all muscled up. I think if he showed up in WWE tomorrow, people were like, "Oh my god, dude, like what is he taking?" Hair looked fabulous.
It was weird to see him as a face. I've never seen Carlito really as a face. He's usually the heel. Mm-hmm. But they had Billy Gunn versus Lance Hoyt.
Yeah. Battle of the Big Men.
Yeah. Stuff from, the ladies from the ROW.
Yeah.
They were there. I know the main event was
Diamond Division?
Yeah, Diamond Division. That was it. And then one of the girls had like a Pikachu get up. It was weird. I don't know. But then the main event, Tommy Dreamer and Mickey James versus Cherry Bomb and Pepper Parks.
Yeah.
Which was like, okay, they had like a segment and they're like, we don't want to do hardcore. Man, Cherry Bomb's voice is annoying. That's our gimmick though, or whatever. That thing is high pitched squealing. But
It's like Vicky Guerrero, but less. More just like just a solid tone. I don't know.
But they were like, because it was a a Texas tornado? No, it was a Texas death match, or what was it called?
Yeah, it was they called it a Texas death match.
But it really wasn't. But so they were like, we don't want the hardcore stuff, and they were leaving, and they're like, no. It's like, we'll just have a regular match and all that stuff, and then they had a match, and
all chaos broke out.
This was fun and interesting at the same time. Okay, because they got to the point where they brought stuff, and so Mickie James put tongs into Cherry Bomb's butt. She was in the corner. No, it went in, man. That's all the hardcore stuff. Like, well, and then the guy next to us was hilarious. He goes,
"Oh yeah," because that was his first ever.
Yeah, this is
first
like an older gentleman,
show.
and he was hilarious. He was like, "I've seen wrestling, but I've never seen a live event. This is pretty fun." And then he goes, "Excuse my French, but what did he say?" He goes, "I would never make love to this woman or whatever." Something. What was
the cherry bomb?
The cherry bomb.
Just because of
she was
how
squealing.
loud
Like,
she was.
Dang man, I would never make love to her. I'm like, what? And then he got up whenever they put the tongs like in that girl's butt. He's like, did you just do that? Did she just do that? It's like, yeah. And he got pumped
so
for that.
what was he there for?
He was
selling
selling
his
like
merchandise.
old action figures
His stuff.
and
Gotcha.
just stuff he's accumulated. It was like, oh, these people might like something like this.
He was
like,
pumped too, man. He was like, my wife may get jealous, man. They got women wrestlers here and stuff. And like that was earlier. I was like, yeah. He's like, oh man, I'm gonna get in trouble.
and it was the Luke Hawks match where he was like, big guy versus little guy. No way that little guy's winning.
Yeah.
It was pretty entertaining.
Who did Luke Hawks wrestle?
One of the
Books
guys from the school. So
A Wildcat guy or a Booker T
Wildcat
guy?
guy. So it's two Wildcat guys going.
Yeah.
And then
they fought into the crowd.
Yeah, they fought in the crowd, and like the people were following them and stuff, and it was pretty cool. And then then there was a while he was trying to get Mickie James up in the crowd, like, come on, Mickey, get up here. So and then Pepper Parks and Cherry Bomb were beating up on Tommy Dreamer and Mickie James, and they were down for a while. Then you hear the music.
Well, they also had a third person with them. They had an enforcer.
Oh, they had a third person. Yeah, if I don't know who that guy
so
was.
So the third guy gets in, he helps clean house, and then all of a sudden, Enter Sandman.
This is the funniest shit ever. So, Sandman comes out with a ladder. He gets on. He's like, by one of the entrances, he gets up there. He's drinking beer while they're beating up the guy. And he's like going like this to the crowd. He's like, people are pumped up. So he moves the ladder. Then he gets down, moves the ladder a little closer, gets on top of it again, drinks more beer. And he's just like, pandering to the crowd and all that stuff. And then he moves, he goes in the crowd, stepping on the chairs, pouring beer into other people's mouths. While other people are beating up on Tommy Dreamer.
He's supposed to be making the save, and he's making a 2.5 minute long.
He's on one side, he pours beer into another guy's mouth, like the whole thing. Then he goes on the other side, pours more beer into another guy's mouth. And then he goes to the other side and does the same damn thing. And then he gets up like on the rail itself, and he's going like this, pandering to the crowd. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like what is going on here?
Your friends are getting their asses handed to them.
They're getting beat up. Then he gets in a ring. And then finally, I think like Pepper Park beats him down. And he doesn't help Tommy Dreamer at all. I'm like, what was the purpose of that?
He did something where he got in the ring, and the enforcer stood behind him and was like slamming his finger into his shoulder.
Was it. He was drinking beer, and he turns around and he gets decked.
Yeah.
So I was like, he's not even helping Tommy Dreamer at all. Like, what is?
He may not be able to. He may be like not able to do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He may be
only take bumps.
He may not. He may not be taking bumps. I mean,
well, he fell to the ground. I mean, but
yeah, but there's a difference between like taking a flat back bump and like crumbling to the ground. Like you can safely crumble to the ground easier than you can take a bump.
But it took the longest, and I was laughing my ass off the whole time. I was like, he just poured that whole beer in that dude's mouth.
Did he bump or did he go to his knees and then go? To
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I don't remember either.
But then finally, I don't know what turned around, but Tommy Dreamer finally got that ladder in the ring, and he jumped off of it. Or what did he do?
They did a superplex from the ladder that was in between the top and middle rope.
It cracks me up, and then they win the match, and then hang on, sorry,
it's the ladder situation. I don't think we got an accurate representation of what really happened.
Okay,
so you hear the music coming, you hear the music start. Enter Sandman by Metallica. It's like a 7.5 minute long song, whatever. So everyone stands up and they look at the entrance. They're expecting him to come out.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they didn't have the stands properly set up or whatever, and you can't really come through the crowd like he does. So he comes out through the back entrance, and he's carrying a ladder with him. The crowd turns, oh, crap, there's the Sandman. And so he sets up the ladder, climbs up the ladder, looking at the crowd. Yeah, opens a beer, and then he kind of like stops, and it was like, oh, wait, I'm not close enough. Climbs down, moves the ladder close to the ring, climbs back up, drinks the beer. All right, yeah, cool. Then he collapses the ladder, carries it, and, okay, if you're facing hard camera, he's on the near left corner. So I think the reason why he moved it a little closer is because he might not have been within view of the camera. So he collapses the ladder, takes it to the top left corner. So he's moving clockwise. Sets it up in that corner, in the far corner. Climbs up the ladder, drinks the beer, looks at a fan, pours it in his mouth. Then he walks across
sides.
Yeah. Then he would walk across the seats, find someone in the middle of the crowd, pour the beer. Did he go back for the ladder?
I don't know. All I know is this
Somehow
took a
the ladder ended up
long
getting
ass
there.
time.
You know how long Enter Sandman is. For them to take so long to where the song, where the lyrics are actually occurring, something wrong, hit the light. We're already into exit light while he's still pouring beer. Like we're a solid 2, maybe 2.5 minutes in, and he has yet to even get into the area of the mat outside of the ring. So this is probably 3 minutes in when he finally hops over the barricade. When he could have just, you know, he took so long, he could have just taken the extra 5 steps to walk around.
It took so long also because the third guy that everyone was beating up, he just stood in the ring and like
he's
looking.
standing in the ring going,
like,
what's this guy doing? Who is this?
I thought it was the funniest thing ever. I was like, I enjoy this. I don't care if he's not helping him. He should be helping him, but this is
It's entertainment.
It is. And really, like before the show when he came out, he's like a colorful, like how he talks and his stories and everything. He has tons of stories. You can hear him talking and stuff, and he's just like saying shit. And
Was
he's
he
like
drunk?
cursing.
Was he drunk?
No, I
No.
don't think so.
That's the thing.
You can hear him like telling stories. He's like dropping F-bombs like all the time and like saying shit. And,
Oh, when I was walking around the booths trying to get interviews with people, I went up to their table. A fan came up. He had the little ticket. It was like good for an autograph and photo with both of the guys.
well, you didn't say who. Did you say it was Billy Gunn and
Billy Gunn and Sandman,
Yeah.
sorry. So a fan walks up, standing in front of their table. They're just yapping back and forth. Yapping, and yapping. He's standing there with his ticket, yapping and yapping and yapping and yapping and yapping and yapping. And then they start to pay attention to him, and then Sandman's like, oh, but then such and such happened. So they go back to yapping and yapping and yapping. Finally, some lady comes by and is like, hey, this guy's got a ticket. And they're like, oh, okay. Take the picture, sit back down, yapping and yapping and yapping. I'm like, man, those guys, it would make for an interesting, like, roundtable video. Like, where it's just like, hey, let's just talk about the business.
There's so many fucking, like, Sandman videos out there.
oh my gosh. Hey man, that
Anything that motherfucker has needed to say has been caught on tape.
I wish I got him with him falling off that hoverboard, but no. Hey man, that is like 45,000 views
Yeah.
on that already.
Gotten quite a number.
Good lord. But no, it was cool. And then also one thing I liked, because okay, the guy said, who was the head of the stuff, was like, well, y'all can still sell your stuff during the event. I was like, that's cool. They had an intermission, and that's pretty cool because during intermission, people could walk around.
Yeah.
And
Stretch their legs,
I
get some
bought.
beer.
People bought some stuff too,
Yeah.
so it was pretty cool.
So it worked out for you.
Did anyone have merch or anything?
Not really.
No gimmicks?
Mm-mm. I mean, they had a table. I think it was RF Video.
Mm-hmm.
They were there and they were selling a bunch of DVDs and like House of Hardcore T-shirts and like Ric Flair robes and all kinds of other random merchandise. Had a box of Bootios, but like
Wow.
the one with the shirt, not the actual cereal.
Was like Rob Feinstein actually there?
I don't know who that is.
The
Sorry.
RF video guy.
Oh, maybe.
He was the guy who was like notoriously caught on that. What is that?
The dude, dark hair.
To Catch a Predator thing where with like Chris whatever.
Chris Hansen.
Yes.
Did he
Well,
have dark
was,
hair?
like,
Why don't you have a seat over there?
yeah.
Wow,
I think I know.
interesting.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he owns RF. But
They had some disc I was like interested in buying. Like I told him if they had the whole collection on one disc, I would buy it. It was like the best friends with Chuck Taylor and whatever. But I think they had each episode was on one disc. Yeah, Trent and Chuck. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna buy it. If you had all episodes on one disc, maybe, but not each episode.
That's not how they sell them though.
Nah.
You want them all or nothing. But it was a really good time. Had some fun. Tyler sold some stuff. I got to talk to some people.
Yeah.
Talk to some peeps.
It was really cool. Am I leaving anything out? I do not know.
Anything happened after the show? Because as soon as the show was over, I was like,
Yeah,
all
like,
right,
I took a picture
I'm
of
going
Sandman.
home.
It was super fast. Everyone was
Yeah.
taking selfies, so it was like,
Click, 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 click.
yeah. He even then wanted to get out though. But oh man, that was the funniest thing of the
That
night.
reminds me of WrestleMania 25 weekend when we were walking around at Access, and Joey Styles was doing like shit for the website, like in the crowd walking around, and then people just started like trying to run up and take pictures with him, and I tried to do like take a picture of myself with him that completely fucked. Whenever I looked at it, it was like not me in the picture with him.
Shit.
But he was like trying to be really nice about it. He was like, "Yeah, guys, I'm trying to get over there, but I'll take your pictures. Just walk with me, so like we can keep going." Because he's like on the clock trying to do shit for the website.
Nice.
And yeah, but I totally fucked it up. But he was really nice about it.
But yeah, this
Is that on Hot Topics, the Joey Styles thing?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Do you want to talk about it right now? Since we're talking
Sure.
about Joey
Yeah, while
Styles?
it's on the topic. Joey
Sure.
Styles, no longer with the WWE.
That sucks.
Yeah. A lot of comments that I saw, there was like, oh, I didn't even know he was with WWE.
He works for he worked on the website.
Yeah. He had been there
Since
2008?
Since he quit announcing, he was working
Yeah.
for the website.
I don't want this job. I don't need this job. I quit.
suck it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess apparently there was speculation that it stemmed from one of those
Live videos that they did.
is that what it was? I heard it was his like AMA on Reddit or I don't know if it was a Reddit thing or it was some sort of interview where I guess he answered like questions very honestly or whatever. And I guess some people think that's what happened, but it was not.
One of the issues.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't call WWE. WWE called me.
Suck it.
I went back and watched that shoot video that he did. Half shoot, half scripted thing.
Yeah. I always like that guy.
Yeah. You will be missed, Joey Styles.
Plus, he fucking knocked JBL out, so that's a plus in my book.
Popped his halves.
So, yeah. One thing I did crack up at was whenever we did the Tommy Dreamer interview, and he was looking at Daryl because she was filming it, and he was like, are you his wife? And she shook her head no. And he's like, girlfriend? And she shook her head no. He goes, oh, you'll be talking to Matt Stryker after the show.
Yeah. And guess what?
And sure enough, there's a picture of her with Matt Stryker after the show.
Yeah.
That's Stryker.
La voz.
La voz de Lucha Underground.
What cracked me up was the video when you're talking to Lance Hoyt, and then he was like,
Whoever came up with that name deserves $1 million.
and then
Stryker was involved in so many of the videos.
yeah, and then he's like, you're like, come on over, Stryker. And he's like, no.
And then 5 minutes later, I get my own separate little interview with him. So yeah, he was in the Lance Hoyt one. He went behind Moose and smacked him on the ass while we were in the middle of an interview. And then in the Mickey James one, you can hear him talking to a fan. Like, dude, get out of my interviews. But it was a really good time.
Didn't get one with Billy Gunn or
That's okay.
it's fine.
That's all right. Just wasn't allowed a chance to introduce myself the way that I was using to get to talk to everyone else. But that's all right. So, all in all, it was a really good time.
Yeah, long day, but
Yeah.
it was cool just to be like, we weren't like kicked out between like the comic convention and
we got to
show.
see what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And
What'd y'all eat?
really cool.
There was a truck outside.
Sandwich.
Yeah.
Lone Star Sandwich.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the people.
They were at the
Doomsday.
Doomsday show.
Yeah.
And
Really
oh
good.
my God, it was
Was it
good.
good?
Oh my
Delicious,
God,
man.
yes.
What'd you get?
I got the Sandman. They made
Is it wrestling themed?
it was for
Yeah.
this
Okay.
particular show. It was.
You know, who I think does that are those two kids who are always lined up at Doomsday. I thought they had a hand in it, and maybe that's why it was wrestling themed. But I might be off on that. But
maybe
because I saw one of them wearing that shirt, so I might be off.
But they had one that was called the Dreamer. They had the Sandman. They had one other one.
BA.
Yeah, something along those lines. I got the Sandman. It was pulled pork, barbecue, grilled chicken, and something else. And it was all thrown together with lettuce, a little bit of barbecue sauce, some other kinds of stuff. It was phenomenal.
I believe
it was delicious.
one of the guys his name is David.
I think so.
But hey man, those guys did a good job. So
What'd you get?
the BA one, and I forgot. I think it was with chicken, and it had that ranch sauce, or was it ranch? Oh man, I forgot. It was
like a spicy ranch.
No, oh shoot, I don't know. It was delicious. That's all I know. So
yeah. It was.
Yeah, I know they were at Doomsday at one time. I think we were there, but we missed them. We didn't get the sandwiches. But they said this was in their backyard. They didn't live too far from this place, so that's cool.
Yeah, Lone Star Sandwiches. So make sure to check it out. I'm pulling up their Facebook page right now.
Sandman eating one.
Yeah, Sandman. The Sandman was brisket, turkey, chicken, ham, topped with spicy mayo and barbecue sauce. The Dreamer was grilled turkey with chipotle ranch. The BA wrap was grilled chicken with chipotle ranch.
Yeah, that was it.
And then they had a hot dog. So it was awesome. It was very delicious. So major props to those guys.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it was already hot enough outside, but they were also in a truck cooking. So, I mean,
I've been I've been wanting to try it because I've heard them. I've seen stuff through Facebook and stuff, and I saw them. I was like, oh, cool. I get to try them.
Yeah, and it was delicious. So if you're in the Houston area and you see Lone Star Sandwiches, SAM witches, not sandwiches, Sam. So really, really
Sam
good
Houston.
stuff. Sam Houston, there you go. That's the best way to think of it. Lone Star Sam witches. So yeah, we had a really awesome time in Pasadena. So let's talk about
chicks, man.
Not chicks, man. Let's talk about Raw. We're getting closer to SummerSlam.
I have to do it to you every time.
Chicks, man. I feel like Raw and SmackDown are going back to their old vices. Like this
guy right here.
Yes.
He's always at the Doomsday shows.
Yes.
He's one of the kids. He's like with that skinnier kid, and like they are always at like first in line at the Doomsday when we get there. Yeah, that's who I was talking about.
Yes.
So he's one of the owners, right? Or it looked like it. Maybe.
He was. Yeah, he was running the show.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's the dude. I just wanted to make sure I was talking about who I thought I was talking about. Yes. No one else fucking knows what I'm talking about.
Well, all they have to do is look at this picture that's right here.
Yeah.
You can see it, right?
They're really cool guys.
Yeah. So they came inside to cool off and talk wrestling. So it was really cool.
Food truck. That's got to be awesome / really hard.
Yeah, especially in this heat.
The freedom though must seem awesome, but I bet it's a grind. I bet it's like a hustle.
Yeah. Well,
so I wonder if it's like, is that like your main job, or it has to be a side thing, or?
I mean, they own a fucking bus or whatever, I imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like Boss Burger. Have y'all had Boss Burger?
No.
On Twin City Highway?
The one that used to be Cowboy Earths?
No. Boss Burger's on Twin City Highway. It's
you're
a food truck.
Is it a truck?
It's a food truck, but it's also stationary.
It's a food truck inside of a gas station, or
it looks like a gas station. Yeah.
It's a truck that doesn't move.
Yeah, but they also have a food truck that they take places to grill as well.
So it's like a gimmick. I don't know.
I don't know, but it's really good burgers as well. So if you're in the area, go check it out for lunch one day.
And you're not.
So let's talk about Raw.
If you're in the area, we would know you.
Yeah.
You're not.
Let's talk about Raw. Like I said earlier, I feel like they're kind of slipping a little bit. This one didn't really hold my interest very well. How about you guys? Was there anything really that stood out for y'all?
For Raw, a couple things.
Yeah.
There was one thing that was questionable. Well, I'll get to it later, though.
Okay. Well, I mean, now would be the time.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's kind of the end, though. But
That's
I guess
fine.
we'll just throw it out there.
Go ahead.
Like, I don't know what the point was about the Daniel Bryan thing. That was weird, right? Like, because I know that they're trying to clear the air about the Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton thing, but
Yeah.
It didn't really lead to anything. It just led to Rusev and the Cesaro thing. Unless Daniel Bryan was trying to steal Cesaro. I don't know.
Well, okay, I've got some points to make about that. But also, I think in general, it was maybe a ratings thing because I think the ratings have been low, and maybe that was Bryan's going to be on Raw. So also, I think it was a way to back themselves out of the corner of they just did the brand split, and then the week following, they immediately had guys from other shows on the opposite show. So I think it was their way of saying, like, this was something we felt like we needed to do to promote this match for SummerSlam, but like them sort of the general managers talking it out, I think was their way of saying it's not going to be continuing or whatever.
Yeah, we're not going to allow this anymore.
Hopefully not. But to touch on your Cesaro point thing, and we can branch off into the Cesaro matches from here if you like, but it would be one thing if Bryan was said that whole like I think you're being underutilized here on Raw. It would be one thing if he was saying that just as like, you know how him and Foley have this competitive jabs going back and forth?
Yeah.
It'd be one thing if he was just saying that as like a jab at Foley. It was just sort of a little shit stirring. But if he really thought he was so underutilized, why didn't he fucking draft him to SmackDown? Why would you say that?
Yeah.
And it's not like he didn't pick, like, even in terms of kayfabe, he picked questionable choices ahead of Cesaro. Like, there are guys and girls who, even in terms of kayfabe, you could say, why would you draft them before Cesaro? So it was totally weird for him to say that. So I don't know what the point of having... It may have just been him, like, ad-libbing that, saying, like, giving his boy a little, like, heat while he's there, and that would be one thing. But if it was something...
Like, I wanted to draft you, but Shane didn't, and...
Sure. I mean, because because when he said it, he looked to the crowd and did the yes thing, like, because he wanted them to, like, pop for, or, like, cheer for Cesaro.
You're being underutilized. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So it's one thing if he took it upon himself and he just wanted to give his boy some shine while he was there. But if it was something that it was intended from the creative side, that makes no fucking sense to me.
Yeah.
Which is weird. But, I mean, I guess to further branch off into the Cesaro stuff is, I like how they have these sort of mini stories that they're setting up, like kayfabe. It seems like a renewed effort to sort of have reasons we're having these matches. It felt for so long like people are just wrestling each other. Not that that's a bad thing, because inevitably that's what a wrestling company does, is people wrestle each other. But it seems like they're sort of going out of their way to come up with little, not angles or big overarching storylines, but little reasons why people are wrestling. And they said, Sheamus and Cesaro, you guys are duking it out to see who's going to be a future contender. And so that's a positive direction. And so, but I don't know where we go from here, because yes, it gave extra meaning to why Cesaro and Sheamus would be wrestling again, but then he ultimately loses to Rusev. Not that he necessarily needed to win, but where does Cesaro, like, as a character go from here? I don't know. It was just extra weird on top of the Bryan comment, so I didn't know, like, what.
Yeah, I felt all that stuff was odd.
I don't know.
For sure.
I feel like I'm bogarting, so
To me, it was a refreshing change of pace where they come in and
the matches were good. Yeah,
they had that segment where Cesaro was like, I like the part where Rusev comes out and he's like, hey, y'all don't need another champion. You've got me.
Right.
I'm the champion. Where's my shine?
Right.
Like, that was a nice, refreshing change of pace, because, you know, when it comes to the end of Raw, you know normally who's going to be there and who isn't. And so for Rusev to come out, I liked it. And then they say, well, hey, Cesaro, I've beaten Sheamus. I think I should be in I'm being underutilized. I'd like a shot at the title. And so they're like, okay, yeah, sure. Let's, you know, you've defeated a top contender in this business. So yeah, here's your shot. Like, with 5 minutes to go before the top of the hour.
I wasn't expecting a match, that's for sure.
Yeah. So it was a nice change of pace. I did appreciate that.
Where do we go from here with Cesaro as a character? Because it's nice that they gave it the meaning, but ultimately he failed. So
he failed because of Sheamus.
Sure.
So does he go after Sheamus, or does he go after, you know, does he go and say, hey, I should get another shot against Rusev?
And Rusev has his hands tied with
Roman.
With Roman, which is not necessarily, I don't want to say it's bad to, like, layer the storytelling where guys sort of had side feuds going on.
Yeah.
I think that's a fine thing to do. It's positive. But I think we're just, I guess because they're doing things sort of so differently now than they have been, it's hard to see where they're going from here.
Mm-hmm.
Not that that's necessarily a bad thing to not know.
Yeah,
where they're
some
going.
change is good.
Sure.
But
The Sheamus and Rusev match, the Cesaro Rusev match was really good. And I also like the Sheamus Cesaro match again.
Yeah.
So yeah, Cesaro worked his ass off on Raw.
Mm-hmm. And it was
I feel like he's more comfortable in like talking now.
Yeah.
Like I think he's getting like more opportunity, and so he's less. You know how he did that whole thing? It's like it's not that I can't talk; it's that I speak so many fucking languages that I have to search for the right word to say.
Yeah.
I feel like he's been getting more opportunities, so he feels more comfortable now. So I don't know. I think that's a positive.
Yeah, it's a way for him to get a bit of a push, as well as make it feel a little more real, as opposed to scripted. Because it's like, hey man, I'm frustrated, and it's for these reasons. And now they're starting to address those reasons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, oh, I'm frustrated that I didn't get drafted higher. Well, you just came back from an injury, so how can we draft you if you're coming back from an injury? That doesn't say a whole lot. Well, I'm not liking that I'm being able to talk so much. It's not that I'm able to talk, it's that I speak so many languages. They're addressing situations, and I like it. And they're saying I'm feeling underutilized. Okay, well, here's a chance for you to make something. So...
we sort of talked about Rusev in context of wrestling Cesaro, but the wedding stuff was pretty bad, I gotta say.
I mean, if you've seen WWE at
it's
all...
like prototype WWE, like what they do.
I did chuckle a bit at the headline that Kayfabe News posted. Have y'all seen that?
I don't think so.
It was like, frustrated baker quits job after, for the umpteenth time the cake got destroyed. Like, that's it. I've had it. I'm not working for this company anymore. But yeah, that segment went way too long. It just seems so awkward.
Roman's like material was very poorly written.
Yeah,
and I don't think that was largely his fault. I felt like what he was given to work with was very, very bad.
Yeah,
we've seen him be like cool in his own way on his own. Like when he's just sort of allowed to be himself, we've seen him seem a lot cooler than that. And this was like, hey, you remember how The Rock was cool? That's how you're supposed to be cool. Like,
yeah.
And he's not the same
no,
guy.
I'm not here to break up the party. I just want to drink a little champagne. You didn't even have a best man at your wedding, so that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, he's like, he doesn't.
Like, no, don't do that.
That's not who he is. You know?
Don't do that. Like, I don't know why they choose that route for him to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just let him be the badass.
Yeah.
Like the cool, cocky bad. Not necessarily cocky, but just let him be the strong, silent type.
I think cocky is sort of who he is.
Yeah.
I think it sort of works for him. I mean, we've definitely seen instances where whoever he is allowed to shine through, and that works for him infinitely better than what they hope to be him to be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, totally agree. It's just, oh, man, why do they do that to him? And then, the Lana was searching for her words, and it's just, it wasn't good.
I keep waiting for her to drop it. Like I feel like the other shoe is gonna drop, and one day she's
when
gonna
she does like certain emotion that she shows, how shocked. I don't know if it's like anger or I noticed when she turned face, she kind of dropped her accent, because I think with her accent, she's good at doing mean stuff and how she's saying stuff like she's angry. She does good with the accent, but
I think Rusev's so much better there. Just when he's like, "You respect my wife."
Yeah, it's just the simple things like that.
He's so like believably like that possessive asshole of a husband. I was like, yeah, that's exactly who he is. Right?
Be quiet and respect my wife.
Yeah.
That's my wife.
If they just let that guy be money, he'll be fucking money for them.
Yeah, he's funny as all get out. He can be funny.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not even just funny. He can be like that intimidating guy when he has to be. Like, he's just really well rounded, and they have a lot with him. I hope they value what they have in him, and they see what they have in him.
Yeah. Going back to the storytelling of small feuds that are occurring similar to Cesaro and Sheamus, I'm digging the fact that they're continuing the Titus O'Neil and Darren Young where it was like, okay, last week you cheated to win. That's wrong. You shouldn't do that. This week, Darren gets the win, same way. And it's like, hey, a win is a win. Doesn't matter how you do it. So, you know, it's a way of continuing the feud, but still, you know, I like it.
Yeah.
The match itself, but
I thought Titus was pretty good here though. Like it might just be me. Maybe I'm on an island here and I'm just a Titus mark, but
now Titus is a very talented guy.
I mean, look, he's not the best wrestler in the world or anything, but like he's really good at what he does, and what he does is just sort of be like really believably aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really bummed. I was like, it's such like the wrong thing to do to like make him be a heel, but I don't know, he's sort of like making it work for me. Yeah. I feel like he's gonna like, I don't know, I feel like he's gonna make it work though. I was a lot more pleased this week. Maybe it's just like he ramped up the performance, but
I'm gonna knock your old ass out.
Yeah, I don't know, I was into it. I might just be a Titus mark though. I don't know.
What y'all think of the Jericho and Owens talking to Cass and Enzo?
I thought it was kind of meh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have nothing for Owens. They're putting him with Jericho.
Yeah. And then the match ends. They had Jericho versus Enzo. Ends in a DQ. After Cass got pissed off, delivered a big boot to Jericho.
Yeah, the Owens thing is sort of weird for me because he has, up until this point, he felt like he was patronizing Jericho. He's like, oh, like they were technically partners, but he seemed like really disinterested and really like distancing himself from Jericho, and not like,
don't forget we're both Canadian.
Yeah, and he was like, yeah, whatever, like that. Yeah. Up until this week, he felt very like it was just like a means to an ends for him. But this week, he really ramped up the we're a team thing, and that felt weird. Did it feel weird?
Maybe it's like he's gonna play this out and they'll like lose to like Enzo and Cass, but like Jericho made the pin and like Kevin Owens would just back away and be like, I'm not really with this guy.
I hope so, because I feel like that would be better for him.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It'll be like a Jericho Owens feud.
I mean, am I off the mark here? Did you guys not feel that way? Like up until this week, he's been sort of like, yeah, whatever, Chris. We're a team, I guess.
And he would always call him out on his BS.
Yeah, but this week he was like, yeah, that's my fucking guy this week. You know, like he was really amping it up.
I think they're going to go that way. And then I know WWE.com on Facebook was promoting that article. And it's like, oh, they're partners now or something like that. So I kind of feel like it's going to go the way I say it is. Maybe not, but I just have that feeling.
Yeah. One of the things that did not make a whole lot of sense for me was the backstage segment with Sasha Banks and Mick Foley. Why on earth, if you're the face and the champion, would you ask for a handicap match in your championship match at SummerSlam?
That makes sense to me. I'm looking.
I get the part of I want to keep my eye on her, but to have a 2-on-1 handicap match instead of a 1-on-1,
if I look at it if I'm just looking at Sasha and her motivations, I understand. She's like, hey, I got to deal with this chick anyway. Just put them both in the fucking match and I'll beat them both. I'm a fighting champ. I'm the good guy. I'm going to overcome the odds. Where I have a big fucking puzzling question mark is why the fuck is Mick Foley making that match? He's like, yeah, I'm not going to do that, but what I will do is I'll let you wrestle her, and if you can't beat her, then it'll be a handicap. What kind of... Where is he coming from on that?
If you lose, I'll give you what you want.
Right.
If you win, I'm just going to take her out of the match.
I thought she was going to lose on purpose so she could have that match.
And why would he even offer that in the first place? Why didn't he just be like, no? Why didn't he, if he is a by-the-books authority figure, why didn't he be like, I'll just ban her from ringside?
Yeah. Like no reason to even have this match.
Yeah, just be like, I'll make sure I'll have security make sure she's not out there.
Yeah, simple as that.
Yeah.
Have a nice day, Sasha. You're well known as my favorite female wrestler.
Yeah,
I've made it very clear on my social media.
Mark for you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give you that match.
I mean, if we go back to the instance of they're coming up with storyline reasons for these matches, maybe there are going to be some misses along the way, but this is them making an effort to say, these are why these people are wrestling this week, instead of these people are just wrestling this week.
Yeah.
But it was a total miss from a perspective of Foley should have just been like, well, I'll just make sure she's not at ringside. Because
And Sasha should have just asked for that. Be like, look, I don't want to have to keep my eye on her while I'm focusing on my championship match. Can you do something about that? And that would have been a way of saying, okay, we'll tell you what, if you can beat her in a match, then I will ban her from ringside. Rather than, hey, I want to fight both of them for the championship. Because what would have happened if Dana pinned Sasha? Would Dana be the champion or would Charlotte be the champion? So it's just one of those things where like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it was very weird.
Another Mick Foley segment. This episode, I think one of the reasons why I wasn't particularly fond of it, it was very promo and segment heavy. Not a whole, the matches were sort of a back note on Raw, with the exception of the Cesaro matches. So we got to see the backstage segment with Mick Foley and Puff Daddy with the New Day, and that is a way you handle a special guest. It's just a quick little, hey man, thanks for letting me pick the soundtrack to WWE 2K7. By the way, didn't know if you were aware, I'm getting my tour going. Here's some tickets to the show. Oh, hey, New Day, let's go talk about stuff.
Chew on the cereal.
Yeah.
So, before I forget, I don't mean to interrupt you, but are they just selling the Big E injury, or is he legit injured?
I think they're just selling it.
Okay.
I would think that they're selling it in a way to, if they're going to change hands of titles at SummerSlam, it's going to be because Big E is not there.
Right.
Like he's the equalizer. He's the big guy.
Speaking of that, the
big equalizer,
the fucking how did you feel about this like doctor promo from the club?
Man,
it's pretty dumb. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, aren't their characters supposed to be no nonsense kind of stuff?
They've made a clear transition to, okay, look, I know you guys aren't like as like much of a podcast geek, despite
beat up John Cena.
Despite the guys that you guys like, the fact that you guys
we're not podcast guys, all right?
You're not.
We don't do that.
I'm not saying you're not a podcast guys. You're not like, I'm a sort of a geek for podcasts. I listen to a lot, and they used to do their own podcast on the MLW network, where it was Carl and Luke, and then Rocky Romero, and then they'd have like guests every week. And they made like a decided change in their character from like no nonsense guys to them sort of being more like they were, just sort of like joking around on the podcast and stuff. And so it's very much like just who they are as people, sort of like bullshitting, instead of just we're the tough, stark, mean, quiet guys,
Yeah.
So they've kind of changed direction and let them show a little bit more like attitude and so yeah.
What was the symptom? Ring postitis?
Something like that.
God. All right, guys, we get it.
Yeah, you hurt his balls.
I did chuckle at the jar with the eggs inside. We're like, just ask Big E. Oh, okay. I get it.
How's Big E's balls?
Balls of steel.
I feel like we're dancing all around this big, well, not big, but this whole Seth Rollins, Finn Balor thing. So what did you guys make of all this?
I felt that the Finn Balor video package was really cool. I felt like the Seth Rollins 10-minute long segment was a little drawn out. I wasn't as interested in it.
Here's what I like about it. It felt like they tried to give you, for people who are new to Finn Balor, or even for people who already know who he is, it feels like they're trying to give you a kayfabe reason for why he does the demon thing, which is cool. I think that's a positive thing. I think they did this whole thing where like his name means this, and his first name means this, his last name means that, and that's sort of what is the last part is like the Demon King or whatever, and like that's when he feels like he has to. I think it's cool to say there is a
the seas boil, the sky falls with fire, and
well, they didn't do it real hammy though. They did it like
this is a story of who I am and why I am.
Not even that. He didn't present it like, I think I turn into a demon. He says I draw inspiration from that, and that makes me like turn on this side of me, and then that's why I paint up and I get like this psychological advantage. He didn't be like, yo, I think I'm a demon sometimes when I need to hype it up.
By the way, FYI, I'm
total
demon.
Total demon. which is cool. They gave you a reason why he does it. They gave they didn't make it hokey. They didn't like, he thinks he's a demon now. They're like, he draws from a part of him. All that's fucking cool. What I didn't like about it is Seth's like, that's not even your real fucking name. Like anybody else is like their real name. You know, that to me is a big thing. Like,
that's kind of a no-no.
Yeah, I don't like that they did that. Even though I like the overall goal, I think was a positive thing to do. I don't like how they got there by saying that you made your name you made your like career under another name. Like, yeah, you did too, and half the other guys on the roster.
Like, why did he say that? That's strange.
I feel like they could have got there without doing that. You know, and that is just like one of like the nits that I'm gonna pick because I really hate that kind of stuff where you're like, yeah, of course that's not his name. Seth Rollins ain't your fucking name either, and it isn't even your other fake name.
Tyler.
And anybody with a fucking internet connection, which is everyone in the fucking world at this point, knows that too. You know, it's like, but I feel like I appreciate the effort to tell us why he does it and that he doesn't do it. He doesn't think he's just drawing inspiration. It's like a psychological thing for him. Yeah. I think that's fucking cool.
It was really well done. I enjoyed it. Kelsey was watching that part with me, and at the very end where the demon eye paint and all that flashes, like that freaked her out.
Yeah.
You know, she was like, oh, wait, hey, hang on a second now.
He's the demon.
Because she asked me, we were watching Raw like right after the draft, and it was his first appearance, and she was like, why does that music sound familiar? I'm like, well, it's Finn Balor.
She didn't recognize him with the paint.
Yeah. She was like, doesn't he have like the paint and all that? I was like, that's mostly for like special occasions.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. I like leather jacket Finn Balor better. I just think he has that little
I just think he pops the collar a little too often.
Oh, I like
he does it like 5 or 6 times while he's walking down the line.
I like that, yeah. I like the jacket. I
don't have a problem with the jacket. I just think he pops the collar like way too much.
That, though.
Like he's just doing this the whole time.
Whenever he came out, when they announced him for the Fatal 4-Way, my dad's like, who is this small guy?
He doesn't even weigh 200 pounds. Speaking of people who don't even weigh 200 pounds, there was a local talent going up against Braun.
I'm sorry, I can't remember how it goes. Generic. Like,
so do y'all like this? Y'all like this Braun better than Wyatt Braun?
Just like the opening.
I like squash match Braun. I think it's fun. He's like really stiff and he shows like little regard for his opponents, and that's fun, you know.
Even after the match, where he just grabs him by the leg and just flings him out of the ring.
I like that that picture that you found on the internet. It wasn't this week; it was last week. That guy, the guy with the blonde hair, or whatever.
Oh yeah,
he's like on the cover of WWE 2K17
with the lack of chin.
Yeah, I thought that was a funny picture.
Yeah.
They did the whole like pre-match interview with a jobber like backstage this time.
I guess Byron didn't want to have to walk as far.
I guess. Oh, that is a weird. I forget that they moved the desk way the fuck over there. Yeah, that's a long trek.
Like, man, I'm tired of walking up and down this ramp. I'll just go backstage and talk to him. It's kind of weird, like that they had that little gorilla position all set up.
Yeah,
you know, all nice and neat, just for that.
Yeah, I'm cool with Braun squashes. I mean,
how long do you think it's gonna last?
Eventually they're gonna match him up with someone else he'll beat that's of note or whatever.
Braun!
Who can he beat up?
Everyone.
I don't know.
Gets in his way.
Who's a pretty obvious job guy on
Shining Stars.
Oh no. Shit. What's the dude's name? I can't think of his name. Why I cannot think of his name?
Darren Young, Titus O'Neil,
Kurt Hennig's son,
Curtis Axel.
There you go.
Bo Dallas.
There you go.
There's some job guys for him to beat.
Oh, maybe Jinder Mahal. I don't know.
Mahal. Yeah, that could be.
Here's a complaint while we're like randomly naming people on the roster. You split your fucking rosters in half, so in theory, the people that you have on each show have more time or more opportunity to get on the show. Where the fuck is Sami Zayn for the past 2 weeks?
I know, right?
He's on main event. I know where he is. He's on main event, but I'm saying, why the fuck isn't he on Raw?
Okay, we don't have too much going on with Kevin Owens. We're pairing him with Chris Jericho. Sami, don't have nothing for you right now.
Well, let's be honest, guys. He didn't win the match to become #1 contender for the Universal Championship.
He didn't, but he did win the feud with Owens. So.
Yes, he did.
Yep.
I mean, like, I get it. People have to be on. I mean, Jinder Mahal just came back and
Well,
then
guys, they only have 3 hours.
yeah. And they split the roster in half, so in theory, like that half should have more time. But
We have yet to see Bo Dallas in his.
yeah, those feel like guys who can be on main event though.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn feels like a guy who should be showcased on Raw.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, maybe they're waiting for this cruiserweight thing to pan out, and he'll be like the main guy on the cruiserweight.
He's going to be the guy to defeat.
Oh, that
Braun.
shit's not going to make sense when that comes along. The cruiserweight, then other people are going to be pushed back too, and you won't see. Shit.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
The joy. What'd y'all think of the Orton Lesnar video package?
I thought it was pretty well done.
Yeah. As they tend to do.
Yeah, they're pretty good
Anytime
at
they
that.
can do a pre-recorded Brock, it's always well
Yeah, I
done.
know him. We were in OVW together, and Brock Lesnar
That
was
doesn't
like,
mean-
I don't know. I
doesn't
knew
mean
of
we're
him. I
friends.
don't know him.
I know who he is. I don't fucking know him.
I don't fucking know him.
Just beat the shit out of people. That's all I do. So what?
They got big history. Brock Lesnar's like, I don't fucking know him.
Brock Lesnar just sort of being Brock Lesnar is still like a bop, gets a bop out of me, you know? I'm like, yeah, I like this guy.
Yeah, he's going to kick some ass. Orton, yeah, I think he underestimates me. Like, let's be real. Let's be real. In a shoot fight, come on. So, speaking of shoot fights, Sin Cara's in action, teaming up with Neville, the mystery partner, going up against the Dudley Boys. So a makeshift team defeats one of the most established tag teams in all of wrestling history. Just like that, Neville and Sin Cara defeat the Dudley Boys.
Yeah, this is seem random and purposeless, and maybe we will go somewhere from here, but I don't know why.
On the pre-show, the Dudley Boys decided to pick on Neville. And I was like, well, tell you what,
That's
instead
right.
of beating you up right now, we're going to have a match later, and you get to pick an opponent.
So it can be a fair fight.
So it'll be a fair fight. Yeah!
The positive,
Testify to that.
I feel like the positive of all this is I really like Sin Cara's new gear. I think that's like the most positive thing I can take away from this. Did you like his new gear? It's like black, and he's got that weird jacket thing, and
I found it weird that he came out to the Lucha Dragon song, but he had the Sin Cara visuals on the main screen.
Give it time.
That felt
They'll
all
have
over
new
the place.
music or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe.
It just felt like a time filler, so...
It was.
Hey, but you know what? This seems to be like we're harping on this, but I think it's a positive direction. It's like they could just be giving us time filler matches, and in a sense, that's what they're doing. But they're at least giving us like little within show storyline reasons for why these people are fighting each other.
Yeah.
So I think that's a positive direction. Anything that shows me that they're even if it sucks that they're making an effort, I think is still a positive direction. You know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm just being optimistic.
Yeah. I mean, we got to see Sasha Banks defeat Dana Brooks. So Dana Brooks is going to be banned from ringside. Luke Gallows and Kofi Kingston. Gallows got the win on that.
He tried to hurt his balls.
Balls.
They were unsuccessful, right? Did they hurt his balls?
They
or
were
did they...
unsuccessful.
Okay. Kofi's balls are A-okay.
Yes. Not suffering from ring postitis, which is good. So let's move over into SmackDown, where first Orton talks and finds out he's going to go up against Alberto Del Rio. And Rio saying, how can you fight the beast with one arm? I'm going to break your arm. Blah, blah, blah.
Okay. This doesn't have anything to do with Orton or Del Rio. It has to do with Dean Ambrose. But do you know when Dean came out and they did like the normal name thing for him? We're like, oh, did they stop the side thing?
Yeah.
He was the only one they did that for. Is that like he's a champ so he gets that special thing?
Maybe. Well, no, because later in the night they did the side one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was the only person who got the underneath one, and everyone else got the side one. I was like, is that like a champ thing? Like the champ gets...
It should.
It gets like, he gets the whole screen except for just right underneath him?
Yeah, he should.
Okay.
Champ should get the main focus.
Okay, totally unrelated. I sidetracked you.
Yeah.
Go
Well,
ahead.
while we're on the topic of Dean Ambrose, you want to go ahead and talk about the Stone Cold podcast? Did y'all get to watch that?
I did. It was weird as fuck,
That
man.
was so awkward. Oh my god.
I've only watched certain clips, but yeah, go
Jesus.
through it.
For a guy who's a pretty decent promo, man cannot talk about himself to
Not
like.
at all.
Why? What do you mean? Like, why?
It was like,
He did not want to talk about his personal life, like growing up as a kid.
that's understandable, but
Yeah.
like you sort of like are in this position, you got to talk about something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He obviously had sort of like a weird childhood and like I don't want to
speculate too much.
I don't want to say troubled, but like he obviously had like a you know, like a not even atypical. He had like his parents were divorced and his mom worked a lot. He was on his own a lot. He like alluded to getting into like drugs and stuff, and like clearly, I mean, he said Austin sort of pressed him, and he sort of like stuff I shouldn't have been doing and probably shouldn't be talking about.
Yeah.
So he obviously got into some shit in high school or whatever, which, hey, a lot of people do. It's not like doesn't make him a bad person or anything. It's just like people do shit. It's whatever. But it was so awkward the way he like, I don't know, like how would you describe?
He just couldn't find the words to say anything.
And he's a pretty decent for a guy who can talk pretty well. He couldn't like carry this conversation.
Yeah, Austin would ask him a question and he'd like divert to something else and wouldn't fully answer the question. Austin would try to go back and he's like, "Yeah, it's just the, you know, I'm just a low key guy."
Do you feel like he's a pretty decent talker on mic?
Absolutely.
So isn't it so weird that he couldn't like carry like a conversation?
Yeah.
It's so weird.
It makes you wonder like how he is backstage.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Okay, if you get on his good side, obviously he'll talk to you and all that. But like if you ask him like general questions,
I feel like the last 10, 15 minutes he
started to open up.
He found like his comfort level, and then he started talking like you would hope he'd talked the rest of the hour.
I would think it was because they weren't really talking about his past. I think maybe the past is still a sensitive subject for him to talk about. You know, like whenever AJ Styles did it, he was like, "Yeah, my dad was this way, my mom was this way, and you know, you could say things were troubled, blah 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 blah." Whereas I don't know if Dean really, he doesn't really want to talk about that because it might still be a sensitive nerve.
Yeah, sure.
Because as you grow up, you start to understand what was really happening, and so maybe it was just.
I mean, maybe he may even feel like protective, even some people who don't have ideal upbringings, they still feel protective over the people of their past. So maybe he just didn't want to get in that shit.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that this is a criticism of Austin instead of Dean is like he pushed him real fucking hard on the personal stuff, but I feel like he gave him a pass on like the professional stuff. I was like, he pushed him like real hard on the personal stuff. He like tried to follow up, but when they were talking about the wrestling stuff, he was just kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's where I want you to hammer him is like on the give him a pass on. If you don't want to talk about his personal life, give him a fucking pass.
Yeah.
But like the wrestling stuff, like hammer him there. That's where I want you to like ask the follow ups. You know.
Yeah.
That's
as far as all
did you get that vibe or no?
I wasn't really paying too much attention to that part. I was mostly just listening for his answers, and it was just very awkward. And you know, once it started talking about your career in wrestling and you've been here and done this, that's when he started to open up. It was the private life. So he
didn't say about the other organizations he was part of.
Austin talked about like
CCW, and
he didn't drop the names.
He didn't say names, but he talked about like looking at his past work and past promos and stuff. And he's like, I've seen you do some edgier, like more pushing the envelope stuff that I was really into. This is Austin talking, paying him a compliment. He's like, he basically said like, I feel like you're okay. I think he literally said, I feel like you're resting on your laurels, and I feel like you're complacent or like comfortable, and
he flat out challenged him.
He's like, I challenge you to like push the envelope. And Dean was sort of like trying to be like a good sport about it, but you could tell he's like, hey man, I can only do what the fuck they'll let me do.
Yeah.
Because he basically said like, yeah, I'm still playing in his sandbox or whatever.
Yeah, I'm playing another kid's sandbox. I can only suggest something so many times before they just say no.
Yeah. That reminded me of something, but also he said, he was basically like, Austin was basically like, yeah, I did shit that I probably shouldn't have done, but it like ended up benefiting my career because it helped me get over. And that's basically what he was saying to Dean. But Dean was sort of like being like, yeah, like I get it, man, but that was a different time. And like also like there, because he went into like about scripted promos and everything. And but also before I forget, like he basically called Brock Lesnar out, and I was like, wow, okay, this is the good stuff that I want to hear. He basically said.
Who called Brock out? Stone Cold?
No. Dean called Brock out for like not wanting to like do a bunch of shit in their match. He was like, I was coming up with all this crazy shit for us to do, and he just didn't want to do any of it. I felt like he was being lazy. I felt like he was like not receptive, whatever. Because
it was Brock being Brock.
Yeah, the rumor at the time is like he wanted to do a bunch of crazy like deathmatch spots, like, and that Brock was not having it, and like. He was bummed out because he wanted to, if he was going to lose, I guess he wanted to be like a big spectacle or whatever.
Yeah.
And Brock was like, nah, not doing it. and he's like, it ended up being fine. I just like ate a bunch of suplexes and it was fine or whatever. But he was basically, he called him lazy flat out. He like pretty much said he's like, he was not receptive to doing anything. Like,
wow.
So it was pretty interesting.
And hearing that, you're like, okay, that makes sense as to why the match wasn't all that.
Right.
It was really flat. It
Yeah.
was like, okay, yeah, Brock didn't want to do it. He's certainly not going to do it.
Yeah.
But he was saying, yeah, I talked to him and it was like, came up with all these crazy ideas, and even up to right before walking out of the curtain, be like, can we just do this? And he'd be like, no, we're not going to do.
Damn.
So
I think that was like actually the most interesting part of the whole.
Yeah.
Was the calling Brock out.
That's awesome.
And the little promo between Ambrose and Austin. It's like, yeah, if we go to the fairground, I know something about you. I know. I thought that was pretty good. But yeah, it was. I feel like he might not be the kind of guy who opens up about his past.
He doesn't seem like a social dude. He does. He seems like a little bit of a weirdo, and that's not like a.
It's not a knock.
Yeah, no.
But
He clearly is a little bit of a weirdo, and that's fine.
Mhm.
But yeah, I just thought he'd be able to. And maybe it's just he wasn't comfortable with the past stuff, but for someone who's like a pretty good talker, it was like a very awkward conversation.
Yeah, I did like the story about how he thinks he's close with Vince, and he was like, yeah, he's called me at 2:30 in the morning, and we've talked whenever he was going to the gym. Like, I'm not going to the gym, but I'll talk to you.
Yeah, that was sort of weird, and I like how he was like, yeah, I'm his favorite.
I think I'm his favorite. Yeah, whatever.
But yeah, it sort of heated up at the end, but it was definitely a very weird. Tyler, you should go back and watch it. But
Slow start.
yeah, it was like a very weird, like 35, 40 minutes.
Can we just get out of my past and talk about my present?
I gotta say, like, because I've only seen like a few of them, but like my favorite one so far is the AJ Styles. So.
Yeah, the AJ Styles one was pretty good. So make sure you go and check it out. But yeah, on SmackDown they had the Wyatts, Bray, and now Eric Rowan cutting a promo. I didn't like the fact that Bray's like, I'm God, and I'm
that's
getting the
not
shaft
like,
or something or whatever it was he was trying to say.
That's sort of like all the stuff he's ever said in the past. It's like nothing new.
Yeah. But,
did you notice that whenever Ziggler came out and they're all fighting and stuff like that, it really looked like Ziggler like literally like purposely tried to kick Ambrose in the head. It wasn't like he moved him out of the way. He looked like he tried to kick him.
That's the speculation.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I moved him out of the way. It's like, hey, I literally like he aimed for his head. That's what it looked like to me.
I mean, that's the angle though.
That's the angle, but no, that's what it looked like for sure.
Well, because he knew he was gonna kick him in the head, so he just went ahead and kicked him in the head. Like it wasn't the. I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say.
It was predetermined that he was going to kick Ambrose in the head.
So yeah, of course it looked like
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. What I
It
did
should
like.
look like it should look like he moved him in the way of the kick, and it didn't look that way.
Gotcha.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
What I did like about this whole sort of weird opening segment is that Dean was sort of like, I see what you guys are trying to do. I'm stupid, but I'm not that stupid. And then Ziggler, this newfound interest in pushing Ziggler's like, fuck it. And he just like just sort of like bumped him on the way down. I was like, I'm fucking going in.
I'm fucking stupid.
Whatever.
I'll go fight these people for whatever reason, even though I beat Bray Wyatt last week.
I liked it though. I thought it was a nice touch for Ziggler. So
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see.
Got to see American Alpha going up against some local talent. I felt very strange that the Vaudevillains and all of them came out. I mean, obviously you want to scout talent.
See, when they jumped in the ring,
yeah,
I thought it was all strange because I was like, so the Vaudevillains,
they already beat
Ascension, and the Hype Bros are all going to attack American Alpha, which was not to be. I mean, Hype Bros helped American Alpha, but still, I was like, that's all weird. They're going to jump even two heel teams and a face team are going to jump American Alpha. Weird.
Yeah.
But it did not happen that way.
Are there, I want to say that there are other tag teams on SmackDown. The Usos, are they on Raw or SmackDown? SmackDown?
Usos
Okay.
on SmackDown.
And I know one of them is out on injury right now.
Really? Was that the one that was hurt not too long ago?
I do not know.
I feel like I definitely think they have a couple more teams than we're out there. If that is like a problem for you,
yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, oh look, the tag team division, they're wanting the SmackDown tag team titles. I'm like, Well, if that's the entire SmackDown tag division, that's very bare. Like, you're going to have 4 teams, one of them being champion.
Well, they definitely have the Usos.
Yeah.
And I feel like they'll probably get at least one makeshift team like Raw has had. So.
And where's Breezango? Or which side are they on?
They're on Raw because...
Okay.
No, they're on SmackDown because...
That's right.
Yes.
Orton did wrestle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Orton wrestled, what's his name?
Fandango.
Fandango, and that's how the Brock set up the Brock thing. So they have... Those are 2 teams that weren't even out there.
Okay, so at least there's 6 teams.
Yeah.
So that makes it a little more...
So you're gonna get your Hype
I mean,
Pro
can
stickers?
you name 6 teams on Raw? I don't know if Raw has 6 tag teams.
We've got New Day,
Yeah.
Luke and Gallows,
Shining Stars.
Shining Stars,
Dudley's.
Dudley's. Look at Abear over here helping me out.
Oh, Golden Truth.
Golden Truth.
All right, fuck it. They did. All right, 5 or 6 on each brand. Okay.
Yeah. Good job, Tyler. Boom. Look at you.
Rattling them off.
That's right. So, yeah, we already talked about the Eva Marie stuff.
There's not much more to say than what we've already said about it.
Yeah. I'm glad that Alexa Bliss got to make her debut.
I thought she did pretty good for her experience level.
Yeah.
I like the girl, though, so...
She's so tiny.
Man, I think she's better than Carmelo for sure.
Yeah.
Get your popcorn.
I think
ready.
Carmelo needs to do, like, a different... Like, they distance her from Enzo and Cass. She needs her own gimmick. Like, it seems like it does... It seems like a force for her to do what she does.
Everyone in the audience is still saying, "How you doing?"
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Get your popcorn ready. Every time she says that, then she gets jumped.
Stop talking about popcorn.
You want popcorn?
I do not want popcorn, but Carmella defeated Natalia via submission.
With popcorn.
Not with popcorn. And I don't know if you noticed or not, but like the way she swung her leg around to get Natalia into the submission hold, very slow. Because I'm guessing that she didn't want to like legit kick her in the face or something like that. She was kind of just like, okay, let me wedge my foot up under there. All right, there we go.
Well, she does it like it's like a stage submission. Like she locks it on first, and then when she really cinches it in is when she grabs the leg and pulls it in. So is that what you mean or no?
Well, no, like she went to like Natalia's laying down on the ground. She has her leg down in front of Natalia, and she like, you know, she wants to move it underneath Natalia's head to lock it in, like to curl the leg. But Natalia had her head down, so she was kind of like scooting it instead of like just a quick movement to where it's under. So I guess she didn't want to like legit hit her or something.
Gotcha.
Anyways, so yeah, Alexa Bliss defeats Becky Lynch. Carmella defeats Natalia. Orton versus Del Rio. Yeah,
it's kind of boring.
Yeah. Randy Borton. Rhino versus Heath Slater, and Heath Slater's poor children, all 2, 4, and 7 of them.
Yeah, I like that. I was into that.
So
I'm sort of into the Slater thing, like going back and forth, like tough breaks.
Yeah.
They were gonna sign him, but he had enough.
I'm out of here. Whatever, man.
2MB, man. Nope. So what do you think about Rhino heading to the Senate?
I think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about him, like what his like political views are to cheer him or boo him, but
Just the fact that he's a politician, like
yeah, I mean, like, how are you going to be on the roster and like doing political shit?
Didn't Tommy Dreamer say something about Rhino at the show or something?
yeah,
Yeah.
He was like Rhino was gonna be here, or no, he was like, I guess we can't have Rhino anymore now that he's been elected into office or something like that. Crazy.
You know, Dreamer's on his way back too.
I don't know, man.
Depends on how those contract negotiations go. So one thing I did like, and it was just a simple little thing. It's something that we don't really get to see that often. Just a backstage brawl. Baron Corbin beating up Kalisto and saying, that's for costing me the Intercontinental title shot. Simple and effective, and it worked. Totally fine with it.
Were we not going to talk about this Ms. Marie shit because that was awesome?
Yes.
I think I missed that.
Oh my God.
They were talking. They go to something
They
like
show
a video,
an Apollo Crews
video talking about the Miz match with Apollo. When they come back, him and Maurice are laid across the table, like face to face, just like about to make out. And like
Miz is like, have you ever seen something so beautiful?
Renee's like in the middle of them, and they're like in front of her, like face to face, like
She's
they're
just
about to
kinda
make out.
Hey,
It was like,
hey guys, we're still doing this.
It was pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
So they were
I'm
like
into
this?
the new Miz stuff.
Face to face?
Like, you know how they have the pre-show table? Yeah, like
if she was like on this side, and then like but we were like this.
They're actually on table doing the poses right now. I should take a picture of y'all doing that. This is what's going on in the studio right now, guys.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad, but it was funny.
Yeah, I'm into the new Miz stuff. I'm cool with this.
It's still to this day. I can't wrap my mind around like Miz and Maurice being a couple. Like I don't know. I mean, power to them both for finding love and all that. It's just like you see Maurice, you see the Miz. I don't know.
So who are you saying is out of whose league? Are you saying she's out of Miz's league? I think Miz is a handsome dude. He's an attractive guy. You think he's sort of nerdy or something? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like I keep thinking back to whenever he first came on to SmackDown.
You know you host a wrestling podcast where we're calling someone else a nerd, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's
All
okay.
Right, go ahead.
Because like I still think back whenever like he was hosting the Diva Search and he had to like look at his hand for the number, like
I remember
doing all that crazy shit.
I remember when he was on the Real World running around doing his like wrestling.
Yeah. And then you got Maurice, who's like this super hot model-esque type of lady.
I don't know.
She's a good-looking gal.
I don't think she's all that.
She's a good-looking gal.
What does pourquoi mean?
I don't
Something
know.
What?
Pourquoi?
For what?
No, the thing that she should say is
Maybe that's what it means. For what?
For what?
But why?
Pourquoi?
I don't know. So anyways, Ziggler teaming up with Ambrose, going up against Wyatt and Rowan. Any thoughts on the matchup?
Nope.
No? Nothing?
I don't. I fell asleep in the last part of this match.
Oh, well, it ended with Ambrose giving the DDT to Ziggler, saying, "Hey, you gave me the super kick, so I'm giving you dirty deeds. Now we're even."
Dirty deeds nuts.
Well, even, yeah.
Was he looking at pourquoi?
Probably.
What you got there?
It means why.
Parkour.
Okay,
It's
cool.
QUI, right? It means why.
Cool. All right.
It's cutie.
But why? Did you guys catch the Cruiserweight Classic from last week?
You're damn right I did.
Tyler?
No, but I watched the. I don't think it was last week. It was like the first week of August. I watched the episode of NXT on. They only have the first one from August. It was with what's his name coming back?
Bobby Roode?
No,
Hideo?
That's the only match I saw. Hideo versus Maluta. Was it Sean Maluta?
Yeah.
And they had some of the cruiserweight guys in the audience. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
I saw.
Gargano and Ciampa killed it.
Yeah, absolutely.
They had a really
they
good
did.
match. Yeah.
Excellent
See it.
storytelling.
Yeah, man.
Go and check that out because it was good.
Speaking of them, have you seen the glorious bomb they've been doing?
Yes.
I don't know. I think that's funny.
I saw one. I was like, every time I see a different, I was like, I know, I get what they're doing. I don't need to see them all.
I don't know about you guys, but Bobby Roode's theme has been stuck in my head for like a week now.
See, when
Glorious.
my knee-jerk reaction was like, whatever. But then, like, the more I heard it, I was like, yeah, it's all right. It's pretty good.
I think I like it more because of the glorious bomb.
Glorious.
What is it about NXT? They seem to have their music game like above.
Oh, regular WWE? Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I'm sure it's like a different guy that does their, or different girl, different
The
person. that does
CFO money or whoever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like a group.
Oh, it's like one group that writes all the songs and records them?
Something like that. Something along those lines. It's like a band
Okay.
instead of just like one writer.
Okay. Like, what's his name that does it for WWE?
Jim Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's clearly someone different. So.
Absolutely. Because they're not afraid to go a little more hard and doing all that. And
Yeah, well, they're just they're not afraid to not be generic. He seems to be like writing a bunch of generic rock music, and maybe that's what they're asking for.
excellent example: Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins when they broke away from the Shield. It was like, wow,
Kevin Owens, Cesaro.
Well,
so many of those people had generic rock
Kevin
music.
Owens, that was NXT one. That was an NXT thing.
You're right about that.
There's so many people that came out NXT has great music. Sami Zayn,
Rusev.
Enzo and Cass have good music.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure, yeah.
Just really good. I'm looking at it. Glorious.
Balor has good music. Lots of NXT people have good music.
Shinsuke.
Good music.
Has it grown on you?
The Shinsuke. I never didn't like the Shinsuke music. It just was like,
well, yeah. Well, I know you said like whenever you first heard it, it was like it's taking some getting used to and all that.
There's some people it's not that great.
It.
Like Austin Aries.
Nah, his isn't. I don't think Joe's is all that hot either.
It's better than his first one for sure.
Yeah.
They have a better like success rate.
Even Carmella's is fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
With the Fabulous and Asuka's is really good.
Yeah, I like
really
Asuka's.
badass. Yeah, they've done a really good job over in NXT.
Yeah, it's definitely way more hits than misses.
How's the music for the cruiserweight guys?
Generic.
Yeah, it's very
All
generic.
generic,
Yeah.
It felt like public domain like stuff that they just pulled off a website or something.
It's like, what's your gimmick? I'm hip hop. Okay, throw in a hip hop track.
The one that had any personality was Swans. That's the one that felt like it has the most
Well,
personality.
because Swan's part NXT.
Yeah, but I don't think this is the same music he used in that match against Corbin.
It's not.
Okay, thank you.
So
It's very like they were like, "Hey, can you just write him a Lionel Richie ripoff?" And they're like, "Yeah, okay."
yeah, so
Clap your hands, everybody.
Ciampa and
everybody.
Gargano are now strictly NXT, right? I think they're almost done with their.
They're wrapping up their dates.
Yeah. I just saw they
At least
announced.
Gargano is. I don't know about Ciampa.
They announced on NXT that Ciampa and Gargano are going up against the Revival in NXT Takeover.
Well, they sort of like they put up on NXT this week. It was who did the Revival face? Who did they wrestle? And then Ciampa and Gargano made the save.
TM61?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, that was it. It was a good match too.
Dude, I want Ciampa and Gargano to get the titles.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a couple of hot tag teams down in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
TM61, Gargano and Ciampa. Revival's pretty good too. Yeah, man, they're doing pretty well.
Yeah. They're hanging in there. Slanging and banging. So, yeah, if you didn't catch last week's episode of the Cruiserweight Classic, gotta at least check out the Gargano and Ciampa match.
But what else was on the card?
was
What else was on the card?
Swan was super over.
Yeah.
Not as over as the main, but those are guys who have been in NXT for a while.
One of the matches the crowd was like dead for. I guess because they didn't really know the competitors.
I'm trying to remember who is all on the card now. I can't even remember who Swan wrestled. Oh, the Jason Lee guy. Is it Jason Lee? Who is it? Something Lee.
Yeah, Jason.
He wrestled Swan,
Jason Lee?
right?
I think so. Find that shit.
I'll try and look it up.
Oh man.
Glorious. Yeah, it was Rich Swann, Noam Dar versus Gaurav Shira. Gurv, sorry.
Yeah, I remember that now that you.
We talked about that, but I want them to sign those Bollywood boys.
I bet you they will.
Trying to see Jack Gallagher.
That's right. I thought Gallagher was really good, actually.
Yeah.
He was
You know what?
over as hell with the
The
crowd.
Fabian guy surprised me because I haven't seen much of the Fabian guy.
Ochner?
He was good too.
He did a moonsault off the top rope and everything.
Gallagher is good. I've seen him, so I expected him to be good, but I had not seen the Fabian guy, and he was surprised me.
Mm-hmm.
And he was good. You know what? This was a fucking good episode. I forgot the card, but it was fine.
Rich Swann versus Jason Lee.
That was a good match too. And,
Yeah.
it was a good match. Good show.
The second match, the Gurv guy, I felt like the crowd was kind of dead for that one. One,
Yeah.
because they were down from it was the cool down from Swan,
Right.
and then they might not have known a whole lot about those two.
Yeah, the thing about the Bollywood boys is they're going to be more over as a team. Like when
Yeah.
when they do the act together a bit.
But yeah, all of the matches really solid.
Yeah, I thought it was actually. It has been a week since I've seen it, like over a week at this point. So I know I had forgotten what the card was, but now that you like refresh my memory, it was a good show.
How do you say it? Gallagher?
Gallagher.
Gallagher.
It's like
Gallagher.
the G silent.
Yeah, I keep wanting to say Gallagher, but it's Gallagher. Okay.
That's how it's spelled, but I
Yeah.
think it's pronounced. With
Gallagher.
What I like about it is they built him up as this, I'm more psychological in what I do in the ring rather than just smash mouth type action.
I bet Daniel Bryan praised the heck out of him, huh?
Oh, he was like, is it wrong to love somebody that you've seen on TV? Because if so, I love this guy. And like, it was, he definitely put him over. But one of the things that I really loved was like, his opponent had him down and he was holding his legs, and you see him like he's putting his hands up and he's like calculating what he's gonna do next. And he's like, well, if I turn this way maybe, and then I can turn that way, and okay, now I know how to do it. And he turned it and rolled it, and all of a sudden now he's got the advantage. So it was like really, really well done. And like even the wrist lock that he was like, okay, if I turn this way, and then he just did like a slow roll, turned it over, and now he's got the advantage. So just simple things that the crowd ate up, and I was loving it. I was like, I gotta see that again, because like even though he didn't do it very fast, it was the way that he flowed. He had a really good flow. So
I mean, think about it, we're in the second round now. I mean,
officially,
by the time you hear this podcast, the second round has already started because we record on Wednesdays now. But
yeah,
I mean, it's only up from here. I mean, like they've eliminated the least experienced and the least polished guys, and it's only gonna get better from here.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I'm sure they're going to have some of those guys who were exited in the first round. They'll have like some filler matches as we get closer to the end.
I'm sure. And they're going to pop up in other places. We already seen the Sean Malta guy on NXT. And I mean, they keep doing the cruiserweight is coming. The cruiserweight division is coming to Raw. So
the cruiserweights are coming. The cruiserweights are coming.
It's we'll definitely see these people popping up.
Yeah. So really looking forward to that. Got some hot topics, or do you want to talk about WWE 2K17 first?
It don't matter.
All right, we'll talk about 2K17 because I know Abear is looking forward to that.
Yeah, you got all the stuff written down, so I'll let you say it.
Really?
I don't know all the people on top of my head. So.
Okay. Well, I mean, I didn't know if you wanted to read them or whatever. Okay, so we've got an updated roster. Some new names added to the list. I'm liking the picture that they're
that's
doing.
a cool touch because like every year it's been like the same boring thing. So this is kind of a little different. It's nice.
It's like, hey, here's
Can you guess before we announce who it is?
Yeah. So some of the updated names, we're not going to do the full roster now. We're just going to do the ones that have recently been added this week.
Bullshit.
Okay.
Fucking bullshit.
Alicia Fox, Andre the Giant, Baron Corbin, Big E, Billy Gunn. That was kind of a surprise one.
Well, I hope they do it this year. I know last year they put Billy Gunn, but they didn't put Road Dogg. You know what I mean? It was like Billy Gunn and X-Pac, but no Road Dogg.
Yeah.
Put Road Dogg in it. Come on.
Next one, they're going to add Braun Strowman.
Not that version. It's going to be the Wyatt Braun.
Yeah, it will be, sadly. Bret Hitman Hart, British Bulldog, Cesaro, Charlotte. Daniel Bryan's going to be in there. So
Whoop, whoop.
One more year of him, unless they decide to add him in as like a legend in later years. Edge, Finn Balor. I don't know if you've seen Finn Balor's entrance.
I don't like.
Well, that's his champion entrance.
Really?
Yeah. So maybe he's going to have 3 different entrances. He's going to have like leather jacket.
Whenever he did that entrance with like the chainsaw, I didn't like it that much.
Corny as hell. I didn't like that either. Also, a lot of people were like, "Oh my god, that's awesome!" And I'm like, that looks so cheesy. Like, he doesn't need to be carrying around the chainsaw. That's not him. But then I saw where it was like, oh, this is only for whenever he's a champion. I'm like, okay, I can
released
tolerate
like
that.
certain videos. I think they released Orton, Finn Balor, and Brock Lesnar's entrance.
Yeah, I saw Brock Lesnar. I also saw that they're going to have the outdoor arena. So it's going to be like different lighting for stuff like that.
Nice.
Which will be nice to see. So Finn Balor, Hideo Itami's going to be in there.
Nice.
Jake the Snake Roberts, Kalisto, Randy Orton, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Sin Cara, The Rock, Triple H, and Tyson Kidd.
I'm ready to see certain people's interests. I want to see AJ Styles so bad, man.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see him finally. Like, yeah. Shinsuke Nakamura. Show me that damn entrance.
That would be fun to see. Yeah, I'm curious as to like the new entries that are going to be on there. Like, are we going to get the new Cesaro entrance?
Because, with certain people, like, it's not always the case, but most of the time it is. It's like whoever's new in the game, like their entrance and their look is not that great.
Yeah.
You give them a few years and they're damn good.
Yeah. Well, they get that full new scan and all that. So, should be something worth checking out. Some breaking news that happened. Shelton Benjamin had been advertised to be returning to the WWE. Unfortunately, this will not be the case as he suffered an injury about 2 months ago. Decided, well, the WWE physicians decided, hey, man, you got to get this taken care of before you go on the road with us. So Shelton Benjamin electing to have shoulder surgery for, I believe, a torn rotator cuff, something along those lines. And he's going to be out for 6 months.
So let's get another guy to come in then.
Yeah, maybe. And he's saying that once he's fully healed, WWE is going to be the first place he looks towards because he would like to return. But it's going to be a while before that even starts to happen.
Back, so he can spit in people's faces.
You never know. For those of you who are still fans of CM Punk, getting ready for him for UFC 202, I believe that's which one it is.
I did not get to see that trailer, man.
Oh, man. It looks really good. It looks really well produced, and I'm curious as to how the UFC fans are going to take to it. It's going to be a 4-part documentary on Fox Sports beginning this Monday at 9:30 Eastern, so right before Raw goes off the air.
What's it called?
The Evolution of Punk or Changing of Punk, something like that. Something about Punk. Doug, did you get to see the trailer?
I did watch the trailer.
What'd you think of it?
It looks well made. I am excited to watch it. I mean, obviously, it's going to go head to head with Raw, at least in some capacity.
Yeah.
Even if it's for like the last whatever, but I'm sure it'll pop up somewhere for people to watch who are trying to watch both. But
set your DVRs, kids.
Yeah, I mean, I want. I'm excited to watch. I'm excited to watch the fight. I want Punk to do well, but there are already, just from like the snippets of what they've shown, there are people far more knowledgeable about like stuff like boxing, like the actual technique of boxing than I am. They're already picking apart just what they've seen on there, and it's like, oh, that doesn't look good at all.
Yeah.
Just like,
look at that uppercut.
Yeah, well, it's like, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, like, they're like, hey, that's boxing 101. You don't drop your fucking lead hand when you're going to throw an uppercut. That's a surefire way to get knocked the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, they show it. Like, I've seen a GIF. He's like, drops the fucking lead hand. And I know he's training with like Duke Rufus, who is like one of like the most like renowned like striking coaches or whatever. So maybe this is something from earlier. I mean,
that's what I was gonna say, because like everyone was like mocking his gut and all that. And I'm like, that might have been when he was just starting out.
Yeah,
and it was just a sparring thing.
And surely like they don't necessarily, he and his camp don't necessarily, or maybe at all, have control over what footage is shown.
Sure,
they may have just said, hey, this is the most dynamic looking footage from to us, so that's what we're going to put on. Where it may have been like the first couple of weeks where he's like really getting into striking or whatever. And the thing that I appreciate about Punk is the attitude that he's taken, not just in this video, but I've watched several at this point interviews he's done for like UFC and MMA in general.
Yeah.
And his attitude is very much that of like, I know why I'm here. It's because of my name, not because I deserve to be here. I'm like I'm trying to get in these guys' world. And it's very much he knows where he stands and where.
He's like, I know that there are thousands upon thousands of more talented guys who are dying to get into the UFC, but just because of my name, I'm getting this shot. It's not fair. It's not right to those guys, but I'm also trying to follow my dream.
Yeah, I mean, he seems to be very self-aware of like where his talent level is, like what he's actually capable of. He's like, I might lose this fight, and I just want to see if I can do it. Like, it's not a matter of, I'm going to come in and whip everybody's ass. Like, no, I've always wanted to try it. I've been given the opportunity to try it, so I'm going to go try it. Yeah, I mean, I think I even fell into the whole like, they're going to give him a tomato can to push over in the first fucking match, and maybe that may actually not be what ends up happening. But I'm excited to watch the documentary and the fight, and I hope he does well for himself. I'm, pulling for him. Yeah, definitely. Did you guys hear what Conor McGregor was saying about the WWE roster? Yeah, I think that shit's funny. Who cares? Who gives a fuck? Like, I think people need to be a little bit more secure in what they like. Like, I mean, okay, first of all, let's look at it from this perspective is, why is Conor McGregor so well known? Because he's a massive shit talker. Why do people love Conor McGregor? Because he's a massive shit talker. So it's all fun and games until he talks the shit about something you hold near and dear. As long as it's something else, you fucking love it. But if he like touches your sacred little thing, then you're like, oh fuck, this guy's, who the fuck does this guy think he is? He's the same fucking guy you loved last week when he was shit talking everything else except for what you like. It's the same fucking guy. Like, he's as famous as he is, yes, because he's a talented fighter, but also because he followed the Chael Sonnen model. He is like, oh, I want to build these fights. I talk a lot of shit, and then people pay attention to what's happening. And that's why. And it's like, I get that the wrestlers on the WWE roster, I get the perspective of, well, let's capitalize on this publicity that he's talking, so we'll respond to him. I hope not, and I seriously doubt, but I at least hope not, none of those guys actually thought we're coming at it from a perspective of, oh, yeah, well, let's see, I'll beat your ass. I think it was more of like, yeah, let's pump up this publicity a little bit since he's already talking the shit and it's out there. Because, like, the reality of the situation is Conor McGregor would beat a lot of people on the WWE roster, for sure. No doubts. I mean,
he's a trained fighter.
He's trained to shoot. They're trained to work. It's a different fucking thing.
Yeah.
But that doesn't take away from wrestling. It doesn't mean that there aren't tough guys in wrestling. It doesn't. Even if Conor McGregor can beat everyone on the roster's ass, it doesn't invalidate your love of pro wrestling. I understand why the WWE guys were taking advantage of this, but the fans who are like, who does this guy think he is? Find some like self-confidence in what you like. Just because he said that doesn't invalidate pro wrestling as a sport or as an entertainment. It doesn't invalidate your love of pro wrestling. It doesn't take any of that away. It's just him talking shit because what he does. Like, have some like confidence in what you like. Like, you don't need other people to like pro wrestling for you to like pro wrestling. You don't need other people to like think it's a valid form of entertainment for you to like pro wrestling. You don't need for other people to think that there are real tough guys in pro wrestling to like pro wrestling. Just be confident in what you like. I mean, look, I take every chance I get to tell Tyler Abear that Doctor Who fucking stupid. But you know what?
He does.
And you know what? He's just like, whatever, man. I like it. And you know, he never tries to like, Tyler never tries to be like,
fuck you, man.
This is why you're wrong and this is why it's cool. He's just like, whatever, dude. I like Doctor Who. Like, that's how, like, be like Tyler Abear. Just be like, I don't need you to fucking validate what I like. I just like what I like. Fuck you if you don't like it. You don't need Conor McGregor to validate your love of pro wrestling. You can just love pro wrestling because you love pro wrestling.
Fucking Conor McGregor's bashing Pokemon Go.
I mean,
Keep calm and be a bear.
Whatever, man.
Just be confident in what you like. Just like what you like. You don't need other people to tell you it's okay to like it.
What'd you think of Flair's comments?
He's still in the gimmick and stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty on the money, honestly. But
woo!
Yeah, look,
I'm bleeding because of this.
There's a lot of pro wrestling in what Conor McGregor does. A lot.
It's called a heel promo.
Yep. It's fine, guys. It's really fine.
Put asses in seats and sells the shows on pay-per-view.
Down.
It's okay.
It'll be all right. As much as I would like to see Conor McGregor get his ass handed to him, don't know too many guys in the WWE locker room who would be able to do it.
He's trained to shoot, and they're trained to work. It's a different thing. It doesn't mean that...
Put him up against Sin Cara. He's the best fighter they have so far, apparently.
Or Bork Laser.
Well, that's kind of a mismatch.
Yeah, it is.
It's whatever. Like, who cares? It's He's talking shit. Who cares?
I did chuckle at, who was it? Maybe AJ Styles' comment.
The featherweight division.
Yeah, it was like, you'd do great in our featherweight division if we had one.
And you know what? Conor McGregor would knock AJ Styles the fuck out. And I like AJ Styles, and it's just the reality. It does. You know, I am 1,000. I would bet my life that Conor McGregor would knock the fuck out of AJ Styles 6 days a week, twice on Sunday, just like he said.
Why are they fighting twice on Sunday? That's the day of rest. They've been fighting 6 days.
I know. I would bet my life savings. I would bet my life that would happen. But you know what?
Let's get some bets going on.
You know what?
Let's see some money changing hands here.
It doesn't make me like AJ Styles as a pro wrestler any less. It doesn't change how I feel about AJ Styles just because I know Conor McGregor can knock him the fuck out if he wanted to. It's fine, guys. It's fine. Be confident in what you like. You don't need other people to validate it for you. It's fine.
Be confident in what you like, and what you like is the WNS podcast. Woo!
I hope so, because if you got this far,
An hour and 50 minutes. I can't stand these fuckers.
I'm turning this shit off.
you need
Well,
to
it's almost done.
reevaluate how you're living your life if you made it this far. And
Living a lie. Timmy. So that's going to do it for us this week. Thank you, everyone, for the feedback. If you have any questions for us, make sure to drop us a comment on our YouTube channel, WNS Video, or our Facebook page, WNS Podcast. Check us out on WrestlingNewsSource.com, WrestlingNewsSource.com on Facebook, and subscribe to our show on iTunes, and feel free to leave us a review or two on iTunes by searching Wrestling News Source Podcast.
We're on Stitcher, Beyond Pod, and Player.fm. Just search Wrestling News Source Podcast to find us.
At WNS Podcast, at WNS_Daniel, at Tyler_Abear on Twitter.
Also, go home, get No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky.
Discover some planets.
Woo! Sounds lame.
Name them like fuck.
Exploration. Woo, space stroke.
Name a planet.
I'm going to go further than you ever will, Doug. In space.
Hey, name a planet after Doug.
I will name it after Doug.
Don't waste your time.
I'm gonna go all the way to another planet just to name it Doug.
This is called This is for Doug.
Not Planet Doug, not Utopia Doug, just Doug.
Doug.
Welcome to Doug.
Whatever.
And
man.
all the plants will be named Doug,
Or Cousin Doug.
and the and the animals will be named Dougs.
Don't waste your time with that shit. Go play some Overwatch and shoot some shit.
With Doug.
With Doug. Yeah.
So there you go. So for the podcast crew, I am Daniel Heron.
I'm Tyler Abear.
I'm Doug.
Yes, he is.
He's gonna have a planet named after him.
Planet Doug.
And we will catch you all next week.